going to help us navigate the changing face of e-commerce in South Africa. So, faux pas, Islamic Relief is with us, and they'll be back just after this little ad break.
Looking for the perfect Umrah experience? Look no further. One Stop Travel and Tours brings you exclusive Umrah group packages with Qatar Airways departing from Johannesburg. Enjoy a seamless journey with flights, accommodations in Makkah and Medina, and visas all included. Experience spiritual peace with Ziyarat Tours guided in English. Departure dates start from December 25th, returning by January 14th. For a stress-free, soul-enriching Umrah journey, call One Stop Travel today at 031-271-2800. One Stop Travel and Tours. Your pilgrimage, our priority. Come get our butcher's best for less at Checkers Foods Cowie Park. Enjoy certified halal butchery products like Championship Boerewors Thin, $89.99 per kg. Beef tenderized steak, just $89.99 per kg. And Steakhouse Classic Porterhouse steak equates to 39 Rand per 300 grams or 13 Rand per 100 grams. Deals valid from October 21st to November 10th. Only at Checkers Foods Cowie Park, now certified by the NIHT, the National Independent Halal Trust, across our butchery, bakery, and deli.
They convince the world to believe that terrorists look like beards and thobes. Now, as the facade cracks, one martyr after another, the world sees through the broken windows and now knows the true face of terrorism. It wears suits and ties and smiles behind lies.
اللهم احفظ المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الحاقدين اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى إلى رحاب المسلمين اللهم وطهر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الغاصبين اللهم عليك بهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك يا قوي يا متين اللهم منزل الكتاب مجري السحاب هازم الأحزاب سريع الحساب اهزم اليهود وزلزلهم يا قوي يا عزيز.
Station for Conversation, Radio Al-Ansar.
We are back with the social network. And who do we have in studio with us? Well, we have Islamic Relief South Africa here in studio with us. We have Abdurrahman Karsani. You see, I did ask him before the show started, but my pronunciation as well. Okay, Abdurrahman Karsani, and with him is Abdul Basit, and both brothers are here from Islamic Relief. Now, they're talking to us a little bit about an Islamic relief pop-up market that's happening in Durban. Tell us a little bit about it, and what can people expect when they attend?
Okay,
firstly, Assalamu alaikum. Yes.
to Sister Rabia and all our beloved listeners of Al-Ansar. Okay, so alhamdulillah, this pop-up market that we're having soon, this weekend actually, Saturday, October 26th from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday, October 27th from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. It'll be held at Lifestyle Food and Home, 311 Vosor. It's a popular joint, has been coming up in a few social circles. Alhamdulillah, it's been doing very good work in our community, you know, keeping our local businesses active, alhamdulillah. That's one thing that is very necessary in today's economy. So this event is a bit different. We're not posting it as a marketing scheme or how do we get money out of this? It's charity. So alhamdulillah, we're doing it in a good cause, for a good purpose rather. The initial name was supposed to be pop up for a purpose. So that's our motto, our awesome backbone. So it's more than just a market. It's like an opportunity for communities to come together. That's what one of our morals are, to bring communities together, enjoy quality time, but understand that there's a meaningful cause to contribute to, something greater than yourself. Absolutely. And rewards to achieve, inshallah.
And what can people expect at the market? What can they hope to see?
So, well, there's quite a few variety of food stalls, there's unique vendors, there's fun, family-friendly activities, kids nice. Activities as well. Quite a few kids activities, alhamdulillah, we've got a few stalls for that. There's salah facilities as well, alhamdulillah, we got that as well. And just general entertainment, but obviously with the with a stepping stone
Yes.
towards knowing that you are going to contribute
Yes.
to something greater than yourself. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. It's always a joy for us as Muslims to be able to help and uplift one another, right? So, but now tell me, how does this event tie into Islamic Relief's broader mission to support those in need? What is the cause?
So, Gigi, so how this works is, so there's an old traditional form of fundraising where you go to a donor and you ask him, listen, I have this cause, can you help contribute towards it? But I work a bit differently. I think you mentioned that I'm a community fundraiser. So community fundraising works, it's a slight tweak in fundraising itself. It's how do I involve a community in engaging with them, involving them, incorporating them in this fundraising initiatives, in these fundraising plans. How do I help them understand that not only can I just contribute, I can also physically do something, physically come up with an idea that can really cause a difference, really make a difference in the lives of others. So by using our focus, which is alleviating poverty and providing assistance to vulnerable communities worldwide, not just locally, internationally. Alhamdulillah, there's Islamic Relief South Africa, just as there is Islamic Relief Pakistan, Islamic Relief Afghanistan. Across the world, there's 44 different countries. We're spread out, and alhamdulillah, we're doing massive, incredible work throughout these countries, either on the ground or just directing money towards them, inshallah. So these proceeds from this pop-up market will directly support our ongoing efforts, including emergency relief and sustainable development projects. One of our goals is to create an awareness of the community, not only of everything that we do in general, but a specific program called the Orphan Sponsorship Program. Alhamdulillah, we have this specific program where we designate an orphan to a donor, and helping people understand that there's a greater system, an alternative to foster homes. There's an alternative to all this. There's a campaign that we are running, and there's initiatives that we are developing to help people get a greater scheme of what's going on, not only in the lives of the lesser fortunate in general, but obviously our children. So by attending, people are not just participating in this fun community event, engaging with their kids, engaging with their families, but also helping us make a real difference in the lives of those most in need.
They say it takes a village to raise a child.
Exactly.
It takes a community, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does.
It takes a community. Yeah. So you are working hard at bringing communities together. What other initiatives do you have that to kind of bring communities together, like this event? Is there other kind of initiatives that you work on?
There are quite a few, alhamdulillah. So previously we've done hikes. We've done sort of like other sort of markets. A hike was a good one. We did also a trivia night. These type of engaging, not only engaging in, I wouldn't say the older communities, but the general community, but rather targeting youth, helping them understand that you can have fun, but let's understand something that is greater than us. Let's sit down and talk, and then we'll have fun.
That's beautiful.
Or let's have fun, and then we'll talk. It's either way.
Fun, but with a cause.
Exactly.
As you said, something. What did you say? You said a pop-up with a purpose.
Pop up with a purpose.
Right.
So everything is done with some specific purpose in mind.
Alhamdulillah.
Right? So alhamdulillah. So these type of events, they provide opportunities for people to unite, engage with one another, all while they know they're supporting a good cause. So it's like, I know I'm not wasting my time. I'm coming to a market. Yes, I'm coming to a market. I'm coming to a hike. I'm coming to this type of event, that type of event. But I'm coming with a greater purpose. I know my money is going somewhere. Someone somewhere is going to smile because of what I'm doing. So not only is it fulfilling in the physical sense, because you're enjoying your time, it's fulfilling spiritually, it's fulfilling emotionally, knowing that you've at least put the step forward.
People love markets. People love to be able to hang out.
The Durban people.
Our community loves it. We love getting out and doing things together. So why not join Islamic Relief pop-up market that is happening in Durban this weekend, right? Give us the details once again.
So
please.
It's Lifestyle Food and Home, 311 Vorst Road. That corner's large building. You'll find it quite easily. It's pretty hard to miss.
Okay.
So 311 Vorst Road, Musgrave, Rabia. It's happening on Saturday, October 6th from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's the 12 hours. And then Sunday, October 27, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. We cut it a bit short so people can get back to work and school, of course, the next day.
Do we have any sign-ups in advance, or do you just
in terms of vendors,
okay?
alhamdulillah, we all allocated. Our vendors are all allocated. But in terms of entry fee, no, just please come. Just come. There's no entry fee. There's nothing. Just please join us. And hopefully you can have a good time. Come support your local businesses and support your favorite businesses as well. Inshallah.
I mean, so pop up at the pop-up market this weekend in Durban, and that is for Islamic Relief South Africa, that is helping communities, and in particular orphans. I mean,
Inshallah.
how much more can we do to raise our kids, right? Absolutely. It takes a village, so be there or be square. Jazakallah khair for coming in to studio and giving us this heads up about what's happening this weekend. We look forward to the pop-up market. I hope it's going to be fun and that loads of people will attend and help you, inshallah, to help others in the various community projects that you are doing. So that is it from, we had here Abdul Basit and Abdul Rahman Karsani. I got it right this time. Jazakallah. And to our guests in studio, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're going to take an ad break and be back right after this.
Looking for the perfect Umrah experience? Look no further. One Stop Travel and Tours brings you exclusive Umrah group packages with Qatar Airways departing from Johannesburg. Enjoy a seamless journey with flights, accommodations in Makkah and Medina, and visas all included. Experience spiritual peace with Ziyarat Tours guided in English. Departure dates start from December 25th, returning by January 14th. For a stress-free, soul-enriching Umrah journey, call One Stop Travel today at 031-271-2800. One Stop Travel and Tours. Your pilgrimage, our priority.
Are you or a loved one battling the disease of addiction? Is your family, life, relationships, work suffering due to alcoholism and substance abuse? Zensai Treatment, Recovery and Wellness Center are addiction specialists offering specialized psychotherapy and naltrexone therapy to help overcome addiction. Zensai offers hotel-style facilities to allow your loved ones to regain their dignity and overcome alcoholism and drug abuse in the most comfortable setting possible. Fight addiction. Call Zensai Treatment, Recovery and Wellness Center, the addiction recovery specialist, on 031-563-0751.
आइए प्यारी बहनों, महफिल नात ख्वानी में शिरकत करके मोहम्मद मुस्तफ़ा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम पर अकीदत के फूल बिखेरें और सवाब दारैन हासिल करें. 10th of November, 189 West Road from 2 to 5 p.m.
You've spent all that time, effort and energy putting together an incredible business. Now, you need to tell people about your business. Advertising and marketing, it's what we do. Listen to this.
Absolutely amazing. It's been my first experience working with a radio station. So you don't actually know what to expect. And you also feel like, you're just going to be a number. But at Radio Al Ansar, I was just not a number. I think the support that we've got has been amazing. You guys have been absolutely amazing. You guys have opened doors for us that a couple of months ago, I wouldn't have thought possible. I think the support for me has been the greatest. It's so widespread because you guys are on YouTube Live, Facebook Live. It's not just radio based. We've got people in Johannesburg listening to you guys. So it's so widespread. We're getting that marketing.
Get in touch with our sales department on 031-208-1601. Speak directly to your target audience.
WhatsApp us now on 060-904-1056.
Radio Al Ansar, Durban, 90.4 FM. Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM.
A message from the sky, a mercy for mankind. If you lose your way, we'll always be your guide. Far greater than this world, move mountains with its word, fixed every part.
Audio stream across the world on radioalansar.co.za.
Words heal the soul.
Welcome back to the social network. And with you today is Rabia Carvalho. That is me. Yes, that's me. If you are with us on 90.4 FM, then you're in Durban. But if you're in Peter Maritzburg, you will be tuned into 105.6 FM. Welcome, welcome. You can see us and join us also on Facebook and YouTube. We had a lovely little chat to the brothers from Islamic Relief. They've just left that pop-up market. There are so many pop-ups and shops and things going on this time of year, Siboniso. Hey, it's like everybody goes out at the end of the year. Everybody's waiting for that hammer to drop and for the year to be over. Well, with us in studio, we're going to move along very, very swiftly, and we're talking about a very interesting topic. We're going to address the current developments in the business world, the changing landscape regarding e-commerce regulations in South Africa. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know of things such as them likes the Temu, whatever you want to call it. And first there was AliExpress, then there was Temu, then there was Shein, then there was Amazon, and man alive, it's been a surge in online shopping. And they enter into our local market, these massive global giants. And a lot have been said about what does that mean to local businesses. Now, I know that last month Takealot announced it was selling its clothing store Superbalist. Although at the beginning of the year, when there were rumors about it, they said, no, we're not selling. And then the 1st of September, they said, sold, boom. And that was it. So Takealot's just one of the concerned companies worried about the feasibility of competing with low-cost Chinese retailers. It is difficult economic climate at the moment. And so we must unpack how these local businesses navigate the challenges and changes to e-commerce. There's always hope after all. And maybe, just maybe, South African e-commerce companies can even use this opportunity to grow their reach here and across the continent. But we needed an expert. And so we found us an expert, just the person we need to speak with today. And he is in studio with us. And that is Brother Bilal Kathrada, who is not a stranger to the Al Ansar airwaves. But for those of you who might not have heard him before, Bilal Kathrada is an edtechpreneur. He consults on a number of educational institutes and businesses on transformation for the 4th industrial revolution. And he's got a podcast that you can look out for called Tech Watch. He covers the latest developments in technology and social implications. So just the right person to help us and share his opinions on the regulatory changes and how embracing digital platforms can place you on a competitive pedestal in the global marketplace. So first of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Bilal, Jazakallah, thank you for being here today.
Wa alaikum salam, and Jazakallah for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, we have chatted before. I believe we were talking technology back then on this same show. And here we are this morning. It's fantastic to have you. These are times of change, especially as e-commerce has taken over, these international companies coming in, and there's a lot of talk of legislation and about the need for more regulation. But from your perspective, what do you think are the biggest challenges that our local businesses face with these new rules?
So I think the rules are actually designed to favor local businesses because they were facing or are facing major challenges from overseas competitors. Like you mentioned, Shein and Temu. They couldn't compete because, the prices that you get on Shein, you simply can't get on Takealot. And so it was impacting local commerce. And the really unfortunate part was that these companies are doing business in South Africa, but the money is all going out, and there was no taxation on them. They were basically doing business freely here. So this is where the government steps in and says, look, if you want to do business here, then you're going to need to be taxed like everyone else, because these are our regulations. We need to protect our economies. Yeah. That highlights one of the challenges with e-commerce because of its cross-border nature. It's easy to take advantage of taxation in different countries. And I think that's what these guys are doing. And that's why, like you mentioned, Takealot sold Superbalist. It's the main reason was because they just couldn't keep up with the prices.
Yeah. It's amazing that they managed to kind of fall through the hoops, because we do have import duties, and apart from customs duties, there's import taxes that get paid on every product. And yet it seems like they just kind of circumvented this. They went shortly around it.
Yeah, they went around it. One is the import duties and the other one is income tax. Yes. So obviously being registered out of South Africa, this is what I'm assuming, they were avoiding paying income tax. And whereas local companies are burdened with income tax. So I think those laws were there have been put into place to protect local businesses.
Now, the folks out in South Africa that may think, oh gosh, I wanted to go into e-commerce, but maybe I shouldn't, because how do I compete? Now, South Africans have got to deal with the technical issues. They've got to deal with regulatory matters as well. And yet our entrepreneurs still want to make it in business online, and e-commerce is still a possibility. Could you simplify for us maybe some practical steps that they can take to start selling online without getting bogged down by all of the detail?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, when you are doing business on that scale, like Temu and Shein are doing, then you got regulatory issues to worry about. But if you're a small business just starting up, I think the economic climate, the laws in South Africa, taxation, are very favorable. And the fact that South Africa is the economic powerhouse of Southern Africa is a huge advantage for us, because our products are sought after, whether you're looking at neighboring states or Mauritius or other Southern African countries. Our products are definitely sought after. And I'm not just talking, when we think about products, we think about these big giant suppliers like Cadbury's and things like that, which are definitely very big, have a huge demand. But I'm talking about things that small businesses are doing in South Africa. I mean, I was on a trip to Zambia a week and a half ago, and it was surprising the amount of South African products that they consume. Everything from homemade biltong to butchery things, and they know names, and I found that very, very surprising. So there is definitely demand, and it's never been easier for South African businesses now that the government is coming in with legislation to protect South African businesses.
Yes.
What we can do is the reverse now. Those guys were doing business in South Africa. Now we can do business in other countries, and it's so easy to get started, Rabia. It's really very, very easy to get started. You don't need to be a tech genius like maybe 10 years ago, where you needed to be able to set up an e-commerce store or set up, do some coding. It's none of that anymore. In hours or in minutes, you can start up an online business.
And you can sell and you can make your living with e-commerce. Now, you mentioned Zambia, and that brought back memories from me. I remember going up into Zambia, into the Copper Belt, or Kitwe and Dola, that area there. And as you say, to paint a picture for the listener, you land in this area and there's just this red sand, and there's these 4 roads in the Copper Belt that kind of connect these really, really tiny areas. But then you find a shop and hey, there's coffee on the counter.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely, there are South African products, and to be able to do that exchange of South African products, we can complete. So do you think with lots of people at the moment still in bricks and mortar, should they migrate, or should they complement their business with e-commerce? Where would they start if they did do that?
Good question. And yes, my short answer is yes. They need to move, not today, not tomorrow, yesterday.
Okay.
Because, the time has been ripe for us to move into online years ago. And I think a lot of businesses have moved up and they have fumbled, but a lot of them are figuring themselves out, and they are seeing the rewards. So I would say not just to businesses, right? I would say to people at home. You've got your stay-at-home moms, you've got your single moms, you've got your students. Get started today with your own one business, because the opportunities are massive, really massive out there. Unfortunately, it's not, there's no formulaic approach to the whole thing. There isn't a formula. It's something that everybody needs to figure out for themselves. But that's where the excitement of doing business online comes in, where what might have worked for you doesn't necessarily work for me, or what works for your business doesn't work for mine. And I have to figure things out. But for me and my team, that's the exciting part, figuring things out, putting out content, putting out adverts, seeing what works. It's really fun. And for us, the most gratifying thing of all is when we get enrollments from other countries. I mean, it's still a thrill to think that our tiny business is doing business in US dollars and Zambian kwachas and
Yes.
Singapore dollars, and it's incredible.
Alhamdulillah. But it for the listener sitting at home, they may think, yeah, but now what am I going to sell? What am I going to sell? But stretch your minds, because really it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go and find, let's take, for example, clothing. And now you're going to think, I need this size, these amounts of sizes and these amounts of colors. And now, you've got the whole supply chain. How am I going to sell it? How am I going to get it to a client? People overlook digital products that can also be sold online for the mom at home. And there's on-selling, right? You could buy and resell.
Exactly. I mean, there are literally dozens of business models, everything from, like you say, digital products to physical products. And gone are the days when you needed to keep stocks and, order in advance and hope that what you ordered was correct. Those days are gone. I mean, today with drop shipping, you can start a business with zero stocks, with zero money in your pocket, with nothing more than a cell phone. You simply go up to a wholesale, for example, and you pick the products that you would purchase and take photos, put them on social media, build up your social media following, and sell. And there's a lot of people doing exceptionally well with this model. So you sell, but you only purchase your stocks when somebody makes a purchase to you.
Yes.
So for example, if you're selling shoes, then when somebody places an order and makes payment, then you go to the shop and to the wholesale and you buy the pair of shoes and you ship it from there. So that's one model, and I think that's a perfect model because you don't have to worry about things like dead stock, which is a huge problem for businesses. Another model is, as you mentioned, digital products. I met a youngster in Gauteng who makes $1,000 a month, which is a lot of money for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just selling books online. He's skilled in certain things, and he writes books about it. He's a student of Tib medicine, the Eastern type medicine, and so he writes books about that. And he says, I just put it on Amazon, not realizing there's such a huge market for what I have to say. So we all have something we could write about. It could be fiction, it could be non-fiction. You can write something, put it out there, and you don't know. I mean, $1,000, that's what, 18,500 rands.
That's good money.
That's good money.
For a starter, for a youngster, absolutely. I'm reminded of something Amy Porterhouse said. She said, you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to know all the answers. You just need to be able to do something or sell something 10% better than somebody else can. And you mentioned something else, which is to build your brand. My son and I were talking about this. So for those of you who want to check out my socials, you'll find me as Life Coach Rabia. I'm sure you're on socials. Would you like to give out your handle?
Yeah, at Bilal Cat on Insta and at Bilal Cads with a Z on TikTok.
There we go. So Instagram, TikTok, never underestimate the power of a personal brand. I look at these youngsters nowadays and the whole concept of going into market. You are your first product. You go into market as your first product and you're out there and you're trying to get yourself a job and you're hoping that your CV is going to speak for you.
Yeah.
But gone are those days, right?
Those days are gone.
How do you feel about personal branding?
I think
online.
It's from my personal experience. Let me tell you this. My marketing team, they become very frustrated because people don't buy from IT Varsity. They buy from Bilal Katrada.
That's right.
When my face is there, they do sales. When my face is not there, then they do no sales.
Yeah.
We actually did a survey, and this is very interesting. We did a survey earlier this year with our students. 90% of them never went to our website. And yet we have a powerful e-commerce website. Why? Because they bought from me through my presence on social media. So that alone tells you how important a personal brand is. And it's something I always encourage my students, that don't send your CV out. Use the old Hollywood adage, show, don't tell.
Yes.
Show people what you are capable of rather than saying that you can do things. For example, if I made you a cappuccino right now, which is really, really delicious, versus me telling you, well, I'm a trained barista and I trained here and there, which carries more weight? Obviously, the fact that I can make a cappuccino that you enjoy. So I always say to my students, especially the ones that are doing web design and software engineering, prepare a portfolio. Well, they have to. It's mandatory for every one of our students to do so. And then put that on the first line of your CV, because then you're showing people, I built this app and that app and that app and that app, and I can do this stuff, and I can do the same for your business. Sold. You know what I'm saying? There's no debate about it.
Yes. I remember a mentor I had many years ago, and the very first mentor I had, and he said, a sale is always a personal choice. It's a personal decision. You buy from a person that you resonate with, a person that you feel that you can relate to. So, Siboniso, on that note, we're going to take a quick ad break, and we're going to come back and continue the conversation and find out a little bit more about online, e-commerce, and even evolving landscape of education right after this.
Looking for the perfect Umrah experience? Look no further. One Stop Travel and Tours brings you exclusive Umrah group packages with Qatar Airways departing from Johannesburg. Enjoy a seamless journey with flights, accommodations in Makkah and Medina, and visas all included. Experience spiritual peace with Ziyarat Tours guided in English. Departure dates start from December 25th, returning by January 14th. For a stress-free, soul-enriching Umrah journey, call One Stop Travel today at 031-271-2800. One Stop Travel and Tours. Your pilgrimage, our priority.
Your style upgrade is here. J. Dr. Jamshed brings Spring Sale with up to 50% off on all items. From 23rd October to 3rd November 2024, drop in stores or online at va.junaidsjamshed.com.
Verily, every soul shall taste death. Prepare yourself for the inevitable. Join the Al Ansar Foundation for our annual Ladies Workshop on Saturday, the 26th of October from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Seats are limited, so don't delay. Register now by calling 031-208-1601. Save the date, 26th October, Al Ansar Conference. Secure your spot and ensure you are prepared for life's final journey.
Join Huda SA as we raise funds to complete phase 2 of the finishes of the Ilovo Masjid construction. We humbly request your generous Sadaqah Ejariya and Lillah donations. Your contribution helps build a masjid and earn everlasting rewards. For more information, contact Huda SA on 031 271 3049 or visit www.huda-int.org. Act now and earn your share of sawab. Donate today. Huda SA, building communities, strengthening faith.
Urban Woman with me, Rabia, is turning 4 and we're celebrating in style. Join us for a morning of fun and an unforgettable live show, lunch, and what's a celebration without cake? Stand a chance to win an air fryer, and we have many other amazing prizes and surprises just for you. Don't miss the excitement. It's all happening on Thursday, 31st October at the Al Ansar Conference Center from 10 a.m. to 12. Tickets are 100 Rand, available from the Al Ansar shop. Hurry, space is limited to just 50 ladies only.
We'd love to meet you. Pay us a visit. Radio Al Ansar.
Welcome back and assalamu alaikum to you. If you've just joined us, you're listening to The Social Network with me, Rabia Carvalho, and Siboniso, our sound engineer for today. Yes, in studio with us is Bilal Kathrada, our ed techpreneur. And we've spoken about tech in terms of e-commerce, and we're going to continue the discussion. We want to take it a little bit and include the ed part of it, which of course is education. You mentioned just before the break that if you made me a cappuccino, I could say, wow, that's a great cappuccino, and that would be so much better than you telling me that you have all these qualifications as a barista. And let's talk about it, because the nature of education is changing, isn't it? So
it is.
You've got these people with all of these qualifications, maybe masters even in marketing and whatever else, and then they get stumped by the realities. What's your take? How do people get started? What do you think is happening in the educational landscape?
So I think when we look at the real world and we look at education, I think there's a huge disconnect between the two. I've got nothing against schools and universities, but I think that they need to catch up with reality around what's going on in the world. If you look at major companies in the US like Google and Apple, they've even dropped a degree as a minimum requirement for working for them. If you can adequately prove that you have the skills to do what they need you to do, even if you are self-taught and you don't have a formal education, they will take you on. And more we are seeing that here in South Africa, where companies are frustrated that they are hiring people with degrees and diplomas. And it seems like the higher your qualification goes, the more difficult it is for you to get a job, because companies have become almost suspicious of high qualifications, because they want to see skills. Let me give you an example, Rabia. Let's say you need a website to be developed for your business.
Right.
And I come in for an interview with my master's degree, and I say, well, I haven't actually built a website before, but if you give me a few months, I will learn. For you, that's unacceptable, because your business needs that website now. Otherwise, you're going to lose money.
Yeah.
It's the same with any business. Now, I'm not saying this applies to every faculty. I mean, in certain faculties like medicine, commerce, engineering, a degree is still important. But you look at technology, when you look at commerce, especially business, degrees are no longer important. And here's evidence. I've got people studying with me, doing my certificate in digital entrepreneurship, who are doing an MBA.
Yes.
There's people in final year MBA at some of the top universities that are studying with us. And so my question to them was, well, you're doing this MBA, why are you studying with us?
Yeah.
He says, because I'm getting the theory there, but I'm getting the practical, the know-how, the streetwise here.
That's what it boils down to, is application. It's the application of the knowledge, and not a lot of qualifications have that nowadays. I know that the CHE, Council for Higher Education, and the DHET, which is the Department of Higher Education and Training, have completely revamped how they approach private education, tertiary education, and government tertiary education, government-based, so public. And they've done that precisely because the application is missing. So you've got someone who's got a master's degree, but they can't apply the knowledge. And at this particular juncture, I just have to make a mention to this because I have to pay tribute to a man who was very, very influential in teaching me this application of knowledge versus education. I worked and studied in my second degree under Dr. Sidney Shipham, a man with 4 PhDs, who passed away just a few days ago. He was an absolute mentor to me. And he always said, Rabia, it's not even what you know. It's not even who you know. It's what you can do
with what
and
know.
who you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're talking about. It's applying that knowledge, and a certificate in that level, if it is focused on application, it's going to be so much more valuable than a qualification that's just theoretical. Industry changes.
Industry changes, and there's a little more ominous aspect to the whole idea, this whole notion of degrees. Is this: let's say you are a single mom, and in fact I had a conversation with someone exactly like that today. Let's say you're a single mom, you dropped out of school to go and become an alima, and now you find yourself at a place where you need an income. You don't have metric. How are you supposed to educate yourself? Now, we've been drummed with this idea that you have to go to school, you have to do your metric, you have to get a degree, that paper before you can even earn a cent, which is wrong on so many different levels. But really, if you think about it, that's the mindset. That's what's everybody's mindset right now. And if a child had to come up to his parents and say, look, I'm dropping out of school, what's the first concern? The first concern is not that, oh, my child won't be educated. No, it'll be that my child won't go to university and hence will not be able to earn a living. Yet, so coming back to this single mom, right? Or this stay-at-home mom, what is she supposed to do? So somebody will tell her, well, first and foremost, go and get your metric and then get your degree. And immediately she's turned completely away from the whole thing. It's the most demotivating thing. Okay, on the other hand, if I said to her, within the course of a year, I can teach you how to go from zero to earning an income of $1,000 a month, doing business locally and abroad. Now that opens up doors for her. That will get her thinking, and that's what will get her on the right track. So our focus, Rabia, is on that. I mean, I I used to lecture at DUT, UKZN, and COSA, and I saw the same problem everywhere. It's this, that they're coming out with degrees and they can't get jobs also.
Yeah.
So we said, well, how do we take a person from zero to earning at least $1,000 income within a year? And our whole philosophy of the way we do things at my business is based on that. So we want to give hope to people. We want to say, yes, you can do it. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be an Einstein. You don't need a degree. You can do it no matter who you are. And some of them, there's a saying in Arabic, لو كان الرزق عند العقل لجاء البهائم. If your sustenance was provided to you in accordance with your intelligence, then the animals would have starved to death.
Yes.
So we
like
think
that.
the guy is because he's more learned now, he's going to earn more. Sometimes you get people who are not that well educated and not that intelligent on the traditional IQ level of intelligence, but are doing fabulously well in business.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at some of the most successful business people, they didn't even finish university. They are university dropouts. I mean, look at the tech world, right? Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. These are all university
Properties,
dropouts.
look at Trump. I mean, for heaven's sake.
I think I fit into that category because people call me Dr. Katrada, and I'm a university dropout, actually.
Okay. Well, you know what? I kind of, in a way, and I don't want to presume that we are of a similar age, but as a Gen Xer myself, I can say that, back in the day, I have seen as a Gen Xer, going from no technology, television, the phone is stuck to the wall or on the table, to suddenly there's all this technology, there's all this information. We have never had so much information at our fingertips. We've never had the ability to learn remotely, properly, not like what we saw during the pandemics, right, as we do today. And yet, I think we've still got that, what you said, you need that qualification. And so people, before they can do what they want to do, they have to first go and study what they don't want to learn. And there are ways around it. So this is not knocking education. We're not knocking education here, folks. Understand, some people love to study and you want to get in depth and you want that in depth of knowledge. Make sure you're going to an institution that prioritizes the application of knowledge, which is exactly what Brother Bilal here is saying, applying that knowledge. So to go full circle from where we started with this interview, we spoke about Shein and Amazon and Temu coming into the country and posing a threat to e-commerce. And then we said, then there's education. There's so much information out there. Where can someone sitting at home, where can they start? Who can they contact?
Well, I say get started right away. For example, I did a workshop in Johannesburg. I think it was in Parktown about 2 months ago. Not a week after that, a youngster contacted me. He said, I attended your workshop and I've started a business in 1 week.
Wow, alhamdulillah.
That's the power of technology. He's got everything. He's got a Shopify store. He's got his social handles all set up, his marketing. He's got his products and his marketing, and he's generating revenue also. Might not be a lot of revenue, but it's a revenue that
never despise small beginnings. It grows.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so I would say to everybody out there that yes, as Rabia, as you mentioned, economic times are tough, but then the opportunities are there also. There are tons of opportunities. Go and reach out for them, because Allah Ta'ala teaches us that in the Quran, right? If you make the effort, Allah will test you, but eventually He will reward you. So get started immediately. If you want to learn how to do online business, there's tons of free resources out there on YouTube. But the way we've done it is that at IT Varsity, with my certificate in digital entrepreneurship, we've sort of designed the course around the journey of a business person who's just starting off. What do you need now, and then next, and then next? So for example, you have to go through the ideation phase. Like you said, what do I sell? What kind of business? So business ideas. Once you've got that, register your business, open your bank account, give your business a name, develop your products. After products, develop your marketing plan. After that, develop your go-to-market plan, your sales plan. So we take them hand-holding through that whole journey. It's not a set of random topics that we put in. We designed it around that whole journey until such a point where they are confident. I always say, and I know we are running out of time, if I had a year to teach your business, I'd spend 51 weeks just building up your self-esteem and building up a positive business mindset, and 1 week to teach you business skills. But unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. But it's all built in. So we bring in experts from business. We bring in successful business people to do webinars, to talk to our students, to share their own experiences so that they feel like, I can do this. And we culminate with the final module. And by then, the whole objective is not to just give you a certificate and say goodbye, but I want to see, did you set up a business and are you generating income? Are you on your way? That's the main thing. And so our whole course is designed around that. So anybody that's interested, they can
please give us your details.
Yeah, Bilal, Bilal, at itvarsity.org, O-R-G, or they can WhatsApp me. I mean, I'm on WhatsApp. I'm just calling up my WhatsApp number. Give me a second. I'm a bit weak. I don't know my own WhatsApp number.
While you do that, I'm reminded of another quote that says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
And that's so true for business. That is so true.
So that number, before we go to the news.
Okay, give me just a second. Okay, here it is. 06 888 54 858.
There we go. Dear listeners, that we've come to the end of this interview. It is 4:00 and it is time for the news. Brother Bilal Kathrada, Jazakallah so much for being with us in studio today. It was a pleasure to talk to you, a pleasure to talk about what's going on in e-commerce. And remember, folks out there, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. We'll be back after this ad break.
وتجري من تحتها أنهار عدن ترى وعطرها مسك يريح هواها سلام فلن يأتي علمك قوما بما قد رأى.
An informative Islamic global perspective. This is Al-Ansar News.
Making news this hour, the 24th of October. The news from Durban 90.4 FM, Peter Maritzburg 105.6 FM. 3 persons are killed in N3 shooting near Sherwood. America Monina, 3 people have been killed in a shooting on the N3 near Sherwood, west of Durban. Paramedic spokesperson Gareth Jamieson says it is believed that the shooting occurred and thereafter the vehicle lost control and collided with yet another vehicle. The incident occurred earlier today just after the Sherwood off-ramp. Emergency services at the scene say they found the victims with multiple gunshot wounds. Jamieson says they were declared dead at the scene. More news. eThekwini municipality says it does not expect any service disruptions before the deadline to upgrade prepaid electricity meters. Customers on the system have until the 24th of November to update their devices through a process called token identifier rollover. Eskom says it is necessary because the old prepaid meter technology will stop electricity from being dispensed. The utility says that the credit tokens will run out of available numbers unless meters are reset. A new series of vending codes will be introduced. eThekwini's Gugu Sisilana says the electricity units completed a token identifier rollover on all meters. A new study has given insight into how some people manage their finances. Standard Bank carried out a study which involved analyzing the data of more than 402,000 job households, or job holders rather. Now, according to Standard Bank, almost half of the income earners whose data was examined have less than 1,000 rand or negative balances in their accounts by payday. The bank has revealed that the day before payday, 28% were in the red. Some already dipping into their overdraft. Standard Bank's Kabelo Makeke has this to say.
As a nation, we are really bad at savings, but we also were quite a consumption-based nation. So we do use a lot of credit, but also we do use a lot of expensive credit, meaning where you actually have high interest debt that you need to repay. That's what really gets us into trouble. We use debt to repay debt, and that's normally you get charged a bit more when you add debt on debt. So that's really what gets us into the debt trap, where we end up paying much higher interest rates on that debt. So that for me is the biggest one. If anything, we should actually start to instill a culture of saving, even if it's in small portions, just getting the discipline right or the habit. That's all that matters at this point.
Still, Makeke is encouraging earners to track their expenses and drop budgets.
In our app, where we can actually show you what your payments for the next 15 to 30 days are going to look like, so that you can actually plan ahead. We also have a budgeting tool that shows you how much you've spent over the period and how much you still left to pay for the month. So I think just sticking to those and getting used to it and categorizing your expenses clearly and cutting out the ones that you don't need. That's just something that you can do on a daily basis. Just logging into your app quickly and checking how far you're doing on each day. It just builds that habit of being clear in how you manage your expenses. But really for me is going back to basics and being clear on where you spend your money and how you spend it.
International story. International media says within earshot of the British Prime Minister's residence, an emergency pro-Palestine demonstration is being held, one of numerous others demanding that Keir Starmer, British Prime Minister, negotiate a ceasefire in Palestine and Lebanon. Reporters over the past year, Britain's involvement in the genocidal war on Gaza and now Lebanon has been staggering, including hundreds of reconnaissance flights, providing Israel with intelligence on ground movement in Gaza, as well as delivering weapons on cargo planes taking off from several European bases. Financial indicators ran to the dollar 17 rand 67, euro 19 rand 9 cents, British pound 22 rand 92 cents. Your weather now 24 degrees. A quick reminder of our top story. 3 people have been killed in a shooting on the N3 near Sherwood, west of Durban. That's the news. We now cross over to Peter Maritzburg for more stories.
Making news in Peter Maritzburg on 105.6 FM. The Pietermaritzburg High Court has extended an order granted in August restraining the Comrades Marathon Association and KwaZulu-Natal Athletics from curtailing the membership rights of CMA members living outside KZN from participating in all CMA affairs and voting at any general meeting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and good afternoon. I am Mehreen Mia. The Pietermaritzburg High Court has extended an order granted in August restraining the Comrades Marathon Association and KwaZulu-Natal Athletics from curtailing the membership rights of CMA members living outside KZN from participating in all CMA affairs and voting at any general meeting. The initial court application by a group of CMA members was prompted by a last-minute announcement issued by the CMA just days before a special general meeting on August 15th. The decree sought to prevent non-KZN CMA members from speaking or voting at that meeting. The notice quoted resolutions passed by the Executive Board of KZA on August 7th regarding CMA membership. The resolutions implied that because the CMA was a member of KZNA, its membership was therefore restricted only to members living in KZN, with those living elsewhere regarded merely as volunteers and not full members. This effectively stripped thousands of CMA members of their voices and votes. The aggrieved CMA members argued that KZNA had no authority to interfere in the affairs of the CMA. Finally, the city has endured persistent electricity outages for several months, a situation that was exacerbated last week by the implementation of a water curtailment program, further impacting households' water supply. More than 50 residents from different wards of Pietermaritzburg gathered outside the City Hall upon learning that a council meeting was scheduled to take place yesterday morning. They gathered in the foyer until Mayor Mzukulu Tebola and a team, including his deputy, left the council meeting in progress to attend to the disgruntled residents. Tebola said the municipality was committed to transparent governance and open dialogue with residents, reassuring the community that the council was prioritizing efforts to resolve the water crisis, which remained a critical issue in Msunduzi. Taking a look at our temperature, we are currently experiencing a high of 24 degrees Celsius here. That's it for news from Pietermaritzburg on 105.6 FM. For Al Ansar, I am Mehreen Mia. Assalamu alaikum.
Radio Al Ansar, Durban 90.4 FM, Pietermaritzburg 105.6 FM. The views and opinions expressed by the guest and presenters of Radio Al Ansar are not necessarily the views and opinions of Radio Al Ansar and the Al Ansar Foundation.
Looking for the perfect Umrah experience? Look no further. One Stop Travel and Tours brings you exclusive Umrah group packages with Qatar Airways departing from Johannesburg. Enjoy a seamless journey with flights, accommodations in Makkah and Medina, and visas all included. Experience spiritual peace with Ziyarat Tours guided in English. Departure dates start from December 25th, returning by January 14th. For a stress-free, soul-enriching Umrah journey, call One Stop Travel today at 031-271-2800. One Stop Travel and Tours. Your pilgrimage, our priority.
Join Islamic Relief for a weekend filled with excitement and community spirit at our pop-up market in Durban. Visit us at Lifestyle Food and Home, Musgrave, Rabia, on Saturday, October 26th from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday, October 27th from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Bring the whole family for delicious treats, unique stalls, and plenty of fun, all while making a difference in the lives of those in need. For more information, call Abdurrahman Kasani on 074 079 3185. Be part of something special. Shop, enjoy, and make a positive impact.
On November 23rd, 1942, the SS Tilawa fell victim to Japanese torpedo attacks, leading to the loss of life of 280 passengers and crew. Join us at the Regent Business School Auditorium in Durban, South Africa, on November 23rd, 2024, for the 82nd commemoration of the sinking of the Tilawa. For further information, visit sstilawa.com, email admin@sstilawa.com, or send a WhatsApp to +27 827 788 660.
As promised at last year's Durban Summer Cirque, part of our profits will go to making a real difference in our community. The Al Ansar Foundation proudly completed its first borehole for the community of Redcliffe. With water shortages affecting many, our mission is clear. Let's bring clean water to more areas in need. Join us in making an impact. Call Outreach on 031-208-1601 or visit alansar.org.za to help build more boreholes and transform lives.
Feel good food all day, every day. The Al Ansar Deli, here to tantalize your taste buds. Visit our sit-in deli and try our daily specials at 207 West Road, Overport. Open weekdays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Saturdays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., close on Sundays and public holidays. Call 031-208-1601. Al Ansar Deli, feel good food.
Radio Al Ansar, for me, for you, for everyone.
That's right, you with Social Network on Radio Al Ansar, for you, for me, for everybody. I am standing in for Brother Zahir Bassa. I'm Rabia Carvalho, and we have a little riddle for you. Riddle me this, Ibanisu. What can run but cannot walk? Do you know what can run but cannot walk? We have Brother Asfat Fili that has just walked in here. What can run but cannot walk? Angaz, he's already looking for his phone. Yes, it's a river. A river. The river runs but does not walk. And for our listeners out there, if you'd like a riddle, WhatsApp us on 0609041056. The answer to this: what can you hold but you cannot touch? What can you hold but you cannot touch? WhatsApp us on 0609041056. As for Philly, he's giving us an answer. You've got the right answer, but we need to find out from our listeners if they know what can you hold but you cannot touch. We've had a super show today talking to Islamic Relief, and then we've had Brother Bilal. We're talking about education and the changing face of e-commerce. And next on the line, we're going to be talking to Hasnain Abdullah. What about? Well, this is our maths workshop spotlight. How do you feel about math? Math and I are not mathing. Math is not my friend. The reason for this is a long story, which I will not share on radio. One of our listeners is hazarding a guess. Let us see, what does she say over here? Or here, let's see, salams. It's feelings. I suppose you can hold your feelings, but you cannot touch. I suppose so. It's not quite the answer we're looking for, though, because you can feel your feelings, but can you actually hold them? I suppose you could hold them inside. No, not the answer. Try again. 0609041056. What can you hold, but you cannot touch? As soon as those answers come in, we will let you know. In the meantime, we have something very exciting and extremely relevant for our learners, especially those of you in grade 11 and grade 12. As we all know, mathematics can be a major hurdle for many students across South Africa. And that's why I am thrilled today to be joined by Hasnain Abdullah from Awqaf SA, who is part of an initiative tackling these challenges head on through workshops aimed at boosting students' performance. Now, not only are they helping learners to overcome their struggles with maths, but they're also preparing students for university entrance, for bursary opportunities, and even for a competitive job market. We've got some messages that have come in before we go across to Hasnain Abdullah. Let's take those messages quickly so we don't interrupt our interview. Tahira Lockhart says, Assalam. Wa alaikum salam. She says, Assalam, lovely Rabia. Is it your breath? I wonder. We've got Sister Khadija who says your breath. We've got Yusuf saying your breath. We've got Sister Razi Ismail saying the answer is your breath. Yes, you can hold your breath, but you cannot touch it. So let's go across to Hasnain Abdullah and talk a little bit about muchly. Let me try that again. Let's talk a little bit more about mathematics and about people making a difference in students' lives, helping them to prepare for university entrance, etc. And that is Hasnain Abdullah. Do we have them on the line? Brother Sibonisa, we do. Assalamu alaikum. Hasnain, how are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Clearly having some fun and some deep engagement there with your listenership. You know, I really like to be part of a very interactive format. So well done to you.
Always fun here on the social media. We still have people WhatsApping us, Sister Shahina, Estop, and others, all saying, your breath, your breath, your breath. Yes, it is your breath. Now, you're breathing a breath of fresh air into students who can't math, where the math just isn't mathing. Please, we've got to discuss this core issue. Why do you think that so many learners are struggling with mathematics in South Africa? Why is it?
So dating back to 2016, the Awqaf, we had access to the findings of a report, you know, and this was a World Economic Forum report that kind of had a study on the top performing maths learners from across the world. And, you know, South Africa, mind you, we were like fourth last, you know, right at the bottom of the log. Yes. So as a result of this findings, you know, we were quite perturbed by this, and this is where we embarked on a campaign to assist learners, as part of an intervention to go to schools and assist those learners that has been struggling with mathematics. You know, some of them we found that they've got learning difficulties. They don't like the subject. They don't like the teacher. And also bearing in mind our education system, you know, when we're talking about some of the public schools, you know, overcrowded schools, some of the teachers, you know, maybe had outdated teaching methods, maybe they also were overburdened. And, you know, the education system is quite overburdened. And this is where we have stepped in. And since 2016, we've been hosting these interventions to assist learners with mathematics. And as we've been going along with this project, we've been having a very deep engagement with the Department of Basic Education and a network of schools across South Africa. And this way we've been learning about that we do find two scenarios here. We find that there are learners that are quite academically astute, they've got potential, and some of these workshops has been assisting these learners to reach their full potential. as a result, so some learners have achieved like 100% that have taken part in our grade 12 workshop. Yes, one learner is currently studying second year actuarial science at UCT, has been awarded with a scholarship. So that's one scenario. We have these geniuses that need a little bit of help to reach their full potential, and we find out that certain learners, they just have a negative attitude towards mathematics, and this is because of learning difficulties, and also that perhaps they needed extra tuition, and maybe their parents were not in that position to afford that extra tuition fees. And this is where OCAF has been coming in with our workshops. Traditionally, we have been assisting learners with grade 12, but since last year, we've opened it up, and we are now assisting learners in grades 10, 11, and 12. Because we do find that, especially in grade 10, and I just want to draw your attention to this up-and-coming workshop for grade 10s that will be taking place this weekend. We do find that learners in grade 10, it's a very crucial year. There are those that thrive, and there are those that become disillusioned, and they are just at this, I'm going to say, they've reached a cul-de-sac. Yeah. And as a result, some of these learners are actually downgrading to like a maths lit or a lower grade of mathematics. So that's some of the observations and some of the learnings that we have picked up while conducting these interventions.
Okay. Now, I think back to not so long ago, these 3 years practically of lockdown, and how students were not able to get into school, and some of them were, studying remotely. And I'm a firm believer, I don't know, how do you feel? If the foundation isn't there, maths is one of those things that you build onto, isn't it? And if those foundations...
Yes, 100%. 100%. So there was a very big gap with COVID. There are lots of learners that actually learn or perhaps visual, or they need to be in the presence of an educator in the classroom. And I think with COVID presented a bit of a challenge and an opportunity. I tell you why an opportunity is because our workshops traditionally were face-to-face.
Yes.
But when COVID presented itself, and for a short while we had an interruption in our program, and we've got lots of like alarming feedback from schools and the learners who needed our assistance. And this is where we opened it up, and we produced a online YouTube workshop format, as well as an in-person workshop. So yes, there was a challenge that COVID presented, but it also presented an opportunity for us to have a very fun-filled, informative format to our workshop. But we were able to help not just perhaps an in-person cohort of 400 learners, but we were able to stretch it up to like about 13,000 learners across South Africa.
Wow.
So, yes, so there is a challenge around doing these virtual things, but there's also an opportunity. We also found that lots of tuition classes takes place currently as a result of COVID via some of these virtual Zoom or MS Teams sessions. So there is, there's this dualities. There's constantly, we are faced with these dualities, that presents.
Yes, and there's got to be different approaches. It sounds to me like you've really embraced not just how to teach and how to learn, but the concept of learning about learning, which often we forget, that some students will learn through visual, some through audio, some through a combination thereof. And it sounds like you're really doing well on that. So could you share some of the key strategies or methods that you found has been most effective when you're helping students to improve their math skills?
So the one thing that we have done is that lots of our learners are digital natives.
Yes.
They are very au fait with Snapchat, TikTok, the list goes on, an array of social media platforms, applications that they use to consume content in their pastime. So what if we were to produce a very immersive maths workshop format via a YouTube platform, make it engaging, make it fun. So this is where we had to adapt, and this has been one of the strategies behind it, in terms of coming down to some degree to the level of the learner, in terms of instilling that fun way of learning. We have the facilitator here, Mr. Mohammed Kota. He's been doing maths tuition for the last 20 years.
Wow.
But he does it in a very novel way, in a very fun way, and he builds a rapport with his cohort of learners. So that's the one. And the other thing has also been a constant learning. As OCAF being the host or as the facilitator, Mr. Kota, we definitely listen to the participants in terms of their needs or what they're looking for, and just constantly developing and improving on the delivery of our workshop. So that has been some of the key strategies and maybe some of the learnings from this intervention.
Yes, making it accessible, making it fun, letting students be able to relate to what they're learning. Because sometimes maths can seem scary, especially when you start getting into what I call the word salad, with the letters and the pluses and the minuses and all these all these symbols. It's like a word salad has exploded on the page. I look at my son studying physics in third year engineering now, and I think, oh, my hat in the basket, what are those quiggly wigglies? But you're making it relatable, you're making it fun. And it's so important because these learners now take it into the job market. So the workshop, from what I understand, doesn't just focus on the actual subject matter, but it's going to prepare the students for the job market. So how does mastering maths tie into the broader career prospects? Why is it so important, so critical for the grade 11s and the 12s in particular?
And the tens as
And
well.
the tens
and
as
the
well.
tens
Okay.
as well. So look, at the moment, we are living, as much as we have an abundance mentality, the workplace out there and the university market, the scholarship, the bursary market out there, there's not enough to go around. It's a very competitive environment outside. Even when learners post-university, it's a very competitive market in order to enter into the job market, because recruiters, organizations, they definitely want to have value in terms of the talent that they onboard to the organization. So they want the best.
Yes.
They want the smartest, the most agile, the most resilient. So building a foundation in grade 10, 11, and 11, the gateway or the foundational phase for grade 12 and post grade 12, you need to achieve good results in key subjects. And one of the subjects is that there is a demand for careers of the future in STEM and so on. That is mathematics and physics and the like, and the sciences. So we need engineers, doctors, actuaries, accountants to solve some of the country's problems. So some of our learners are here are, we're grooming them to be the future leaders of South Africa, not to leave South Africa, but to stay here and kind of replenish the brain drain.
Yes.
And we need the greatest minds, and we do have that potential, and we do have it in our pool over here. So this is why we always have this emphasis around really performing well, and as an organization with our partners to assist these learners to really achieve the best that they can do. And also, this is our contribution to providing quality education. We do know some of the challenges that the Department of Education is facing. So that's the state of mind, and constantly we are reminded about why we are doing it, and it's just there to prepare our future generation for the very competitive workspace.
Well, you have your work cut out for you because, wow, maths, it can be fun, it can be exciting, and it sounds like you found exactly the right way to make that happen. It also kind of teaches you, I think, if you're working on maths problems. I may be wrong because, again, my math doesn't math very well. But I do find that it's process thinking, isn't it? You got to go from point A, what is the next step, and then the process. And then, so you're not just teaching math, but you're teaching a valuable skill of process.
Yeah.
Right? Now,
yes, 100%.
And you mentioned that there's a competition aspect of the workshop where you award students for their hard work. Now, how does that recognition impact on their motivation? Are there any success stories that stand out that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, you must bear in mind that lots of our school-going learners, some of them have got holiday jobs, school jobs where they earn a revenue to cater for some of their needs. You know, lots of learners are going into university.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2022, we decided to do an impact study in terms of to find out, engage if we have been hitting our KPIs or our targets in terms of this intervention.
We have 1 minute.
And this will be,
we have 1 minute.
Okay. So to conclude,
yes,
we will be hosting a competition to award academic excellence for the participants that have taken part in the workshop. So some of our past or recent achievements, Rorisang scored 100% in mathematics, and we have produced last year 2 learners